Hello, lovelies. I am Lynn. I would like to do a quick reading on what's coming up this week, hopefully quick. I'm going to use a couple decks to do this, though, because I have a feeling it's a big week for us. I do know that on Tuesday, March 4th, there is a countrywide for certain protest. And if you follow 5051, and it's FIFTY is their web address. They have a list of locations. Their goal is to do 50 states, 50 protests all on one day. And so they've managed to organize that a couple times already. Know that people around the world are watching and participating as well. So I think that's incredible. And if you are outside the US watching this, thank you for your support, because there's a lot of us who uh, are incredibly grateful for it. Okay, let's get into this reading. I did just a standard Celtic cross, kind of my version modified, not the, I didn't do the long-term outlook. I just did this coming week, starting tomorrow, March 3rd. Today is March 2nd. Our first card at the base of everything is the Nine of Swords in reverse. And, upright, this is that card of incredible anxiety. And boy, that really feels like where we are right now. And yet in the reverse, it feels like we might be getting a little bit of help, maybe. I don't know how reliable or how powerful that help may be, but it has potential. Crossed by the Fool, and to me, this card always represents the new start, and planning and happiness about that new start. But there's also, in every new journey, you have to be careful about how you progress. Where you start, how you start is how you go. So if you start on the wrong path, you have to back up and start over again to get to the right path. So this is both a card of hope and a card of warning, in my opinion. At the base of the reading is the Five of Swords in reverse. And this card, in the upright position, there is victory. And the gentleman here is the one who has collected a bunch of swords. He's got all of them. But and others are walking away saying, nope, I lost, see you bye. But and there's only two people walking away, and he's actually got five swords. So he's battled a bit. In the reverse is this means that we've had our strength tested. We've been through the slog, through the mud, through the quicksand. Um, there's a lot of resentment for that, for having to be put in that position. Energy passing away is the Nine of Wands in reverse. In the upright position, this is a person who has battled and survived. You can see he's battled by the wound dressing on his head. In the reverse position is um, this is a situation of perseverance and obstinance, and yet even with that obstinance, the outcome may not be what we want it to be. And I feel like this is representative of how many of us came out and showed up for Kamala Mamala. and voted and did the thing. And something happened along the way that I believe, allegedly, was a stolen VOTE. At the top of the reading is the Eight of Pentacles, the skill, the knowledge, the education, the abilities to get through what we're being asked to do. Energy coming to bear this week is the Page of Swords in reverse. And this is I feel like this is news coming out that is like I just finished another reading on Ivana and Melania, and I'll post that one on Monday for tomorrow. And this one will post today, Sunday. But I feel like this one is representative of the information being released that I alluded to in that reading. And it's going to originally come off as if it's a gossipy type of information. And yet, as the days and potentially weeks progress, we're going to learn how much truth is behind that content. Okay, and then at the top of the reading, what is normally called House and Home, is the Ten of Cups in reverse. In the upright position, this is a celebration. Their wishes have come true. In the reverse position, oh, look, nope, those wishes did not. There's a lot of arguments. There's a lot of unrest. At the start of this video, I mentioned that there are protests going around the country this week. Perhaps that's what that's referring to. The next card, how others see them, is the Hierophant in reverse. And that is, there's a lot of contempt occurring from our government towards us, allegedly. I need to pause for a moment. Sorry about that. We had somebody walking a dog, and our dog. Wait, that's my road. It's not her road. She just thinks it is. Okay, hopes and fears of the future is the Empress in reverse, and this is a card that represents inaction, and these are our hopes and fears. What happens if nobody takes any action? It's up to us to save ourselves. We have to show up. We have to put the work in. We have to say, this isn't happening. We are incredibly powerful when we get together. I use the hashtag We Rise Together. That is true for our country. That is true for the world. When we combine our energies, there's no stopping us. And so this fear of no action being taken, if you're doing anything that you can to contribute to this protest, to saying, no, this government system does not work for me, you're contributing. I don't care if that's a phone call to your representatives. I don't care if that's distributing flyers for the 5051 organization, the grassroots protests. I don't care if that's making signs. I don't care if that's making phone calls. If you're contributing, if you're showing up to the protests and being part of those, that's any of that matters. Making connections and creating community, that matters. Okay, so we are not sitting on our laurels. We're going to get out there, we're going to do the thing. And then the final outcome for the end of the week is that we're feeling like we're still under an authoritarian government and being controlled. All right, I am going to use another deck, possibly two. I have two of them that are calling to me, so I might use both of them just to see what more I can get. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, I pulled cards from two different decks. The first one is the Yin Yang Insights Oracle cards. The second one is the Trish James Predictions deck. So let's get into this. The question is, what does our upcoming week look like? We need to be protective of our feelings and to take care of ourselves. I've said this in several other videos, and I'll say it again. If our videos, excuse me, are too difficult for you to watch, step away. We have, if you wish to support the channel and support our growth, we have meditation videos. We have other videos on other topics. One of Jane's favorite topics to cover are cold cases, and so we'll be doing more of those. In fact, we have one coming later this week. So look for that if you are interested in those. But this is all about nurturing yourself, caring for yourself, connecting with earth, finding your joy, being in the moment. We've got some decisions coming up. We've got some hard choices to make. At the bottom here, it says between two people or two paths to stay or go. Dream messages. So this is connecting with your spirit guides and listening to the signs and being very careful about your spiritual growth, your spiritual well-being. When I connect to spirit and I talk to my spirit guides, and I'm taking this from Dave Johnson, which is absolutely fabulous to do, is to ask your spirit guides or whichever spirits are coming through to show you something that makes you feel safe. And every time I ask that, they give me something. And it's always been accurate. And it's always made me very happy and smile. Okay. So this is a distance. It's a timeout. This is part of nurturing yourself, of listening to those spirit guide messages. This is the overarching message this week that everybody needs to know. Be careful how much you lean in. Protect your well-being. And there's more of that down here. There's the self-love card. Being careful with your intentions. Knowing your self-worth. Manifesting your future. Careful what you ask for. You might get it. We're all feeling isolated. Like we are in a at the bottom it says lonely, negativity, not hopeful, and discontentment. To me, I just feel like this is very much isolation. And something that really stands out to me is the gentleman on this card. This is a man who is covered in dirt. His hair is long and unkempt. His hand is up to his head, and he's crouched down and protecting his body with his other arm. Here's his other arm coming in front of him. This is a very self-protective position, but I want to know, what would you do if you passed this person on the street? I've known a number of people who've been homeless in their life, and one of the things that they've always talked about is how many people look through them and don't see them. Like they know that they're there, they know that a person is there, but it's like they look right past that human being. Do you do that? I hope that if you have done that in the past, that you change moving forward because there is a homeless crisis in this country. There are a lot of people who are working full time and even multiple jobs who cannot afford the rent. There is a homeless crisis in this country, and it has been here for a long time. Okay, let me keep moving on. Trying to decide where to go next. Um, so we have those doubts and that feeling of isolation, decisions to be made, and contemplation. And I feel like those decisions are going to be made during the summer and the fall. Um, we're going to feel serious progress over the summer. And the fall is when we're going to see significant change. Now, I if my intuition serves me well, and I think it does, I feel like the month of March, is when we're going to see a lot of protests, a lot of calls for IMPEACHMENT of the felon in the White House and all of his crew. And if that happens, there will be somebody put in temporarily. But do I know that for sure? I do feel like it's temporary. I do feel like it's temporary. Um, and then in the autumn, we're going to see a significant change. Our passion for our country is going to lead the way. We have that inner fire. Um, the bottom of the card says new starts, attraction, creation, desired, a new venture or job, and action. This screams take action to me. And I talked earlier about nurturing yourself and protecting yourself and self-care and mental health. But I also talked about contributing where you can and stepping back where you cannot. That's what the Ace of Fire and the Passion card says to me. Contribute where you can, take action where you can, connect with the groups who are doing something and tell them your limitations if you have any, or what you're willing or not willing to do, and what you are willing to do, and how you can contribute. And then finally, um, I've I have heard this so many times that this is all in intended lessons for us. And I have to say, I don't know that I really needed those lessons because I saw him for who he was early on. About the time he came down that escalator and said the things he said about our neighbors to the south, which were untrue. And anyway, so we need to trust that it'll all happen in divine time. Um, that there are greater forces at play. We need to release that sense of control and what the outcome looks like. That to me is something that's really felt very important the last few weeks, is that we feel the need to control the outcome. My dog is coughing. So many distractions. Anyway, so sorry. So we feel the need to control the outcome, and when we attempt to control the outcome that we want, it rarely happens. That said, everything is going to work out for us in the highest and greatest good. It's not going to be a quick change, though, and it's going to be bumpy. And I feel like as we go through it, we're going to say, oh my God, is this really what I asked for? Is this really what I wanted? Okay, so that was the first set. The next one is the Trish James predictions deck. And boy, howdy, I love this deck. The answers I get from it are incredible. And yes, I shuffled um, very, very well. I used this in the previous video I did that's going to come out tomorrow. And some of the cards that I have here are showing up again from that earlier reading. So, what do we need to know this week? We're going to learn about classified documents and where that information has gone. Hmm. I don't even know where to go next. Um, I don't know where to go next. The little boy who wants to be king. Does that resemble to you, who I feel like it resembles as a little boy? And he acts about that age. And he wants to hold on to power. And he has other people around him who support him in that wish. Now, this is a card that represents a female, but I don't think it represents Melania in this reading. I think this represents the entire group of people around him. And while he is somebody who is controlled, he also controls many others. The wording on this says controlled puppet. And yet, as much as he is controlled, he wants to stay put. He wants to stay in control because, oh, interesting. I don't feel like he's felt like he's had a lot of control over his lifetime. And that's how I sense that he has felt about his life. In reality, I think that he's had far more control than he wants to give himself credit for. And I believe that he's bullied his way through that to get it. Um, Still struggling to figure out which way to go forward on this reading, which card is next. Um, this says so many people on it, but look who that looks like. That looks like Baron to me. I'm going to put that, oh, those things around here so everything is on screen. Sorry about that. I'm going to set that up here at the top with our supposed king, queen, and somebody is going to have a significant health matter, likely this coming week, perhaps the following, or over the weekend. And I think it's here. I think it's our wannabe king. Okay, so I've grouped the cards over here a little to contribute to our story. Wow. I cannot begin to tell you how much energy is coming off of these cards right now. I have the chills reading these. So these three I'm putting together, and that is AI tech, drone strike, and classified knowledge. AI tech and drone strike go together to me. When you use AI, it collects your information, particularly Google. It will be interesting. Like there are benefits to AI and there are downsides to AI. The benefit is that it helps us grow in our knowledge base. The downside is it steals our information and uses it against us, and then gives us fake information in return. And it uses all the information it gets, whether that be scanning documents or websites or whatever, it uses that to grow and feed. Wow, wow. Allegedly, allegedly. That is what I'm. So some of that is knowledge. Like AI is. I'm creating a new word. It's plagiaristic. um, it takes other people's work, and yes, some of them will give a link to the original source, but some of them will just make up sources. So if you're using AI, be very careful about that. Also, AI uses resources like water to cool the servers. So there's an environmental impact that we've never been told that is still hidden from us. Um, and that is available if you look for it, but you have to know to look for it. I feel like the drone strike and the classified knowledge go together. And as I'm looking at this card, I'm curious if the drones that were over New Jersey for weeks and weeks and weeks and are possibly still there, but they've just stopped talking about it. I'm not sure. I feel like that's involved in the classified knowledge and in the AI. But then I'm also feeling like this is Ukraine and Russia war. Excuse me, the war that Russia brought to Ukraine, and that Ukraine is using AI and drones and important knowledge to succeed and win. But where did that classified knowledge come from? Is it ours that we gave to him before the 45 felon in the White House arrived? Or is it information that they're getting from other countries now? Which is certainly possible. And then finally, we have foreign occupation. And frankly, that could go either here or here. I feel like this particular wannabe king and his so many people who are all puppets are at the mercy of another country. Starts with a U with excuse me, starts with an R, ends with an A, has a USSI in the middle. I'm new to YouTube and I don't want to be parked on already. um, so so there's a grouping here that could be foreign occupation. But there's also this grouping over here that could talk about foreign occupation because there's the Russia, Ukraine, Russia instigated Ukrainian war. But who's occupying? Like, is Russia in Ukraine or is Ukraine going to overtake Russia? And I don't know why I'm fine saying Russia right here, but I'm not over there. I don't know. Anyway, ultimately, we have new rules and policies and laws occurring. This is a reading for this week, so I'm not sure that those are positive, but the final card that I've got is we have a good outcome. And let me tell you, I needed that after this reading. I needed to hear that. I needed to hear that bad, and I think you did too. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. We will get through this. We will get through this. Find community, connect, do what you can. On that note, this reading is finished. I am so grateful for you being here. I hope you will consider following us. My goal for this channel is just to build community among like-minded people, and to support each other with kindness and love. And on that note, I do want to bring you back to that place of centeredness and of being loved. Take a deep breath in and let it out. Excuse me. And as you do that, let all that angst and fear and tension release from your body and flow through your feet into the earth for cleansing. And thank the earth for cleansing that energy. And when you think of when you wish to do prayer, whatever. So I do not consider myself to be Christian, but I pray all the time. I speak to my spirit guides. I speak to the divine spirit. And a prayer can be as simple as thank you and as complicated as please fill in the blank. um, but I pray all the time. I give my gratitude for all all the ways my life. Let me revise that. All the ways my life is fulfilling and where abundance shows up. And sometimes, to quote a song, some of God's greatest gifts are unanswered prayers. The Nine of Cups, be careful what you ask for, you might get it, um, is most certainly in my head right now. Um, so when you pray, please pray for the earth that she is loved and respected, and do your best to do that for her too. I know it's not easy all the time, but every little bit helps. All right, so gosh, I feel kind of lectury today. Sorry about that. Um, know that you are made of stardust and a whole lot of magic, that you are powerful far more than you realize, and that you are profoundly loved. I hope you have a beautiful week ahead. Bright blessings to you. Thank you again. I appreciate your being here. Bye now.